think it reflects that double standard with the way we treat corporations and public figures when it comes to corruption. And it's something that's still incredibly prevalent in those spaces. You also look at the narratives that these companies are able to spin, and I think that that is what's so important. For those who have been following this, they'll know that there has just been essentially a deferred prosecution agreement signed with McKinsey between the US authorities and South African authorities. And in that agreement, McKinsey have essentially shifted blame for their role in South African state capture to one employee. In the public statements, they say, we're very sorry that former partner Vikas Segar engaged in this type of corruption. But the problem is that what we know from the Zondo Commission and from a host of other evidence in the public domain is that their involvement was much more systematic than that over many years across Transnet and Eskom. Um, and you see the same with Bain. Bain have kind of said, well, we're not the same firm. That was one or two people that were engaged in poor conduct. Whereas the evidence is that actually their role in the destruction of SARS was actually quite systematic and in many ways quite deliberate, a deliberate kind of working with those public figures to destroy that institution, or at least to attempt to. And yet they're able to spin a public narrative that it was one or two bad apples and, the firm goes on. And I think that interplays down with what you've said is this double standard. And it's what allows these types of large corporations to quickly reinvent themselves and then find themselves, as we've said, back at the center of the action. And of course, looking for future work. And that's what I think Bain and McKinsey are using these spaces for. It's to create a pipeline of contracts going forward that will be very lucrative for them.